Welcome back, my friends. I am Brian, and you are Chords and Notes Nation. Thank you for joining me again today for another Versus reaction. These seem to be very popular, and we are going to continue them. So today is going to be a special one for me because my favorite band of all time is Rush, and we're going to feature Gothic Serpent from Singapore and Cyberband from the Philippines, both of which are going to be covering this song. This one I'm going to have to be extra special careful with because Rush being the benchmark that I feel that all musicians need to hit, I'm a bit of a perfectionist that way. So this is going to be the one that challenges me to sort of relax off of that idea that you have to be perfect and it has to be done exactly right, because that's not going to happen. There isn't. And especially with the drums, there's not another Neil Peart out there. That being said, both of these bands have covered Rush before. I've heard some of their stuff, and I think they've done an amazing job. So I am looking forward to this head-to-head performance. At the end, there will be a poll on the channel posted for you to be able to vote and to be able to comment and start a conversation about the song and why you think what you think and why you think who you thought did a better job overall. But again, remember, we are not saying who's the better band, just who you thought played the song better. What else do I want to say? Hey, check out the description box below this channel. There are ways to support this channel. If you are liking this channel and subscribing to the channel, or liking this video, I should say, and subscribing to the channel, that helps a lot. The views and the comments help a lot, and so does the hype button. All of that information is data for the algorithm to push these videos out, but also for me to evaluate what's working and what's not working, because I want to bring you music that you enjoy and reactions that you enjoy. That being said, we are going to start with Gothic Serpent from Singapore, and let us get rolling. Very cool. Very cool. So, those of you who don't know the story behind, or at least part of the story behind YYZ or YYZ, um, that is the airport call code name for Toronto's international airport is YYZ. And at the very beginning, what Neil did on the symbols was the Morse code equivalent to YYZ. And it was very cool that what they did here, Gothic Serpent, is a couple of things. They did the Morse code, but they showed the Morse code on the screen, which was really cool. And they filmed part of this at an airport, which, hey, awesome. They're going the extra effort. They're going the extra mile to sort of give us that viewing experience. Um, and I've always loved that about Gothic Serpent. So very cool. You guys are awesome that way. And the drummer, obviously, he did not have his full kit on site at the airport, and but that's okay because in the studio he did, and I think he actually did a pretty darn good job covering those parts. Again, like I said, nobody is going to be able to play Neil Peart's parts like Neil Peart can. You can have a lot of them, a lot of people that sound very much like him, but the feel, the sound of his cymbals and drums, those won't ever be duplicated, um, because he had a certain way. Obviously, it's just like a guitar player, right? I could pick up a song, a guitar, and play a song. I could play a Rush song, I have, but I'm not going to sound just like Alex Lifeson because I don't have the same feel. I'm not the same person. Um, I don't have the exact same guitar, and every instrument is different, different wood, different manufacturers, all sorts of things go into it. So there's a lot of nuances behind making that decision about, do I pick an artist based on just the sound? No. But the skill level was definitely there. I think they nailed all of it pretty damn good. So that is awesome. Now, we are going to move on to Cyberband. This is going to be, I believe, a live performance, but that's okay because it's Rush. Cyberband, but it's Rush. produced by Ramps Studio. So I think they were in studio there. Um, and this was a very good version of this song. I think the bass was really, really good in regards to how its tone was a little closer to Geddy Lee's tone than the tone from Gothic Serpent, than his bass tone. And I think the main reason for that is probably because here in Cyberband he's playing a Fender. Looks like a Fender Jazz. I'm not quite sure if it was, but that would have been closer to what Geddy Lee was playing in the original recording of this song. So that's that. I was a little iffy here on some of this because it seemed like they lost the groove or the timing, especially that one part at the beginning where they slowed it down and then sped it up real quick. That seemed intentional. If it wasn't, then at least they moved as a unit to fix the problem and get back up to tempo. Um, but that to me, that caught my ear, and I didn't really like that. I don't know what the reason for that was, but that I don't think they needed to do that. And they kind of did that a little bit in the middle section where it was sort of just before the guitar solo, where it was this call and response mini solos between the bass and the drum, or where the bass would have like a couple bars to do a solo, and then the drums would, and then the bass, and then the drums, and then go into the guitar solo. There was I think it was the second mini bass solo where I feel like he slipped on his timing there, and it just felt like it like you just stepped in mud, and it slowed down the feel. Um, and that was noticeable to me. So, but I think technically, as far as proficiency is concerned, they did a good job of playing this song. The drums, I don't know how they were mic'd, but they just seemed muffled. So it was really difficult for me to pick up on, is he hitting all the notes that need to be there, or is he putting his own interpretation there? Because the miking just, what, like I said, it kind of the toms were muffled to the point where it was a little bit difficult to discern that. But overall, they did a very good job on this. I think, this band, especially because they play a lot of progressive stuff. So does Gothic Serpent. I think both of the upside for both of these bands is huge, and that they should continue to keep pressing on and challenging themselves by playing these kind of songs, and it will only make them better. So if I have to make a decision on this one, I'm gonna go with Gothic Serpent. Um, I think for the reasons stated that I struggled with this version of the song, the Cyberband's version. I think that was the difference. Not that they did a bad job, but I just think it was enough for me to say, I don't know, maybe another version without any of those tempo and feel um, distorted, not distortion, but it just didn't feel right. Any of those things going on there. I think, yeah, that's where I'm at with this one. So I'm gonna go with Gothic Serpent. You guys, let me know what you think. Not only in the comments below, but don't forget to check out the poll. And that's all I have. So God bless you guys. Jesus loves you. Make sure that you love one another, and I will talk to you in the next video.